yesterday I grabbed 3 Jolly Ranchers and 2 of them were blue. I was like, wow. See? I'm gonna grab a red. I like the purple one. Alright.
Strawberry.
Love you.
Love you. Hi guys. So Jesse's gonna go pick up my guy, Mr. Isaac. But anyway, so yeah, Jesse and I love to listen to Dr. Laura on XM radio, and she is a G. I don't know too much about her, honestly, like personally, because I know I've read some controversial things about her, so I don't know too much about what she has done personally. But I love her advice on her show. Because she's very upfront and brutally honest, and she just gives no F's. She really doesn't. She's just gonna tell you straight up how she feels, and she has a lot of wisdom, and I really like that about women. When women just are bold and empowered and they don't care what people say, like, I love that about people in general, but women more so, because I want to be like that, you know? So one of the things that I learned from her is to say no. You guys know I've been talking about saying no for the longest time, and to not be afraid to say no when you don't feel like doing something. But the thing is that I was going out to eat with someone, and this person wasn't paying for any of their meals. And one of the meals was really expensive, and I like to pay for my friends. Honestly, I do like to pay for my friends because, like, if you're my ride or die friend or you're my sister, like, I'm not keeping tabs. I'm not, you know, wanting like, oh, I paid today, so you gotta pay next time that we go out. Like, I am not like that at all. Like, I would pay every time. And, like, if I love you, money to me is nothing. Like, I don't mind spending money on people that I love. Even like my sister Wendy, she has a job. She makes a lot of money. And I'm still like, I got you, sis. I got you. Like, you don't have to pay for anything. We can do whatever. Like, honestly, that's how I am. And maybe that's my fault a little bit in a sense too, because I think people take advantage of that. But then I'm also like, do people really befriend someone just to go out and have dinner just for a free meal? Like, I'm not doing the most. Like, I would never do that. Like, I would never pretend to be someone's friend just to freeload or get something from them. Like, that takes too much energy that I do not want to spend. So it's hard for me to believe that someone would be like that. But I know that they're shady people. So this girl called in, and a young girl, 13 years old. So this is my advice, right? I learned from a 13-year-old, from like the struggle of a 13-year-old. She called into the show, and she's like, hey, Dr. Laura, so me and my cousin went out to the fair, and she had money, but she didn't spend her money, and I had my money that I worked over the summer to earn babysitting, and she just kept telling me to pay for her games and her food and things like that. And so the little girl that called in, she's like, I ended up paying for everything, and I had a hard time saying no because I didn't want to get her mad. I didn't want to offend her, right? And Dr. Laura said, first of all, your cousin doesn't care about you, because if she did, she wouldn't be taking advantage of you and making you pay for everything for her. That's number one. She doesn't respect you. Number two, and here's the gold. Okay, here's the gold for anybody out there. This is the gold. Okay, and I want you guys to do that because this is what I'm doing now. You might feel bad if you say no to your friend. And you're also going to feel bad if you say yes, because you know that you should have said no and that you're being taken advantage of. So you're going to feel bad regardless, right? So what I want you guys to do if you're in this situation is to say no. And you can feel bad for saying no because you feel bad for the person. But I don't want you to feel bad for saying yes. I don't want you to feel bad for saying yes and just being like, damn, I should have said no. I wish I would have spoken up. I wish I would have said something. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this little girl called in and with her mom, and I was just like, I am so happy that you are learning this lesson at 13. And you don't have to be 32 and learning this lesson, because I went through my 20s, through my teens, not really in my 30s because I've already been, you know, growing up and glowing up since my 30s. or for a long time, but my 30s were like, boom, like I'm not taking anything from anybody. But there's still some moments where I'm like, I don't want to hurt their feelings, but no, we can't be so nice anymore. Like, I am done being like super nice and trying to make everybody like me. Like, I am so done with that. Next time that I'm out and that bill comes, if I'm out with someone who has not been paying for any meals and we're not that close, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna tell the waiter, can you split the check? I'm gonna just give my card, we can split the check. And I'll be like, hey, you still need to pay for your half. Or if that person tells me, can you pay for me today? If we don't have that relationship and I just feel like you've been taking advantage of me, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be like, I would really love to pay for you, but I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't do it today. I would really love to though, but I just can't. So that's also the advice that Dr. Laura said. Just say, sorry, I can't. And don't say because I have to do this or I have to pay my mortgage or I have to do whatever. Just say, no, I'm sorry, I can't. You don't have to give a reason why you're not doing it, because then they're going to go into that reason and be like, well, you know, they're going to try to find a way to go around it. So just say, sorry, I can't. I don't want you paying for all the meals. I don't want nobody taking advantage of you. I have an attitude, but I don't think it's a bad attitude at all. But I'm this way because so many people have taken advantage of me, and because I'm really sweet and bubbly, and because I'm tiny too, I think people just think that they can easily take advantage of me and manipulate me or whatnot. But yeah, I have a different level of self-love and self-confidence. I love myself, and I'm not gonna let anybody take advantage of me, because I would not let if I saw myself outside of my body and my body was like my daughter, I would not want anyone to take advantage of her. And then I was listening to this podcast, which is my new favorite podcast. Everybody, please subscribe. I'm over here promoting it. So Melissa Ford, she is such a beautiful, strong woman. I love her. She started a podcast with these two other beautiful women, and not just beautiful, but like intelligent. Like the intelligence is like what really hooked me to these ladies. So their podcast is called I'm Here for the Food. And I really want you guys to check it out, because they have really empowering conversations that actually do empower women. And I really admire that about them. So they recently had an episode, and they were discussing just safety on the streets and sex trafficking. And I learned a lot from that episode. It made me think about how being too nice can sometimes get you kidnapped. It can get you killed, because we're taught to be polite and to not offend people. So sometimes we'll make ourselves feel uncomfortable in situations where our gut instinct is telling us that something is wrong around us and there's danger around us. And they gave a lot of great information about that. And I'm the person, or I was the person, to always be like, oh, let me help you. Like if somebody needed help on the street, I'm like here helping, just being the nice person. But Blue, she's a co-host of that show. She said something about like, I'd rather be rude and alive or something like that. She said something that was just so amazing. And I'm like, that's so true. Like we as women can't be so nice and so sweet and polite. It made me reflect on how I tend to be too nice, and I don't want to find myself in any danger for being too nice or helping somebody, you know. And they went over some really great tips on just safety. Like we have to know as women how to protect ourselves against anyone trying to traffic us, kidnap us, do any harm to us. I'm also really inspired to buy a shank, to buy a pocket knife, to buy a taser gun. Not a taser, a stunt gun. Or a taser gun. I'm not too sure which one it is. Also pepper spray, and just be more vigilant all around me, because I've been in situations before, guys. Like this one time I came home from the airport. Well, I was on my way to go home from the airport, and I couldn't find my car. I don't really remember the situation that I was in, but it was really late at night at LAX, and I got on a bus, and I somehow ended in this really creepy empty parking lot. It was really dark. There were a few bus drivers, but it was just like really dark and scary, and nothing happened to me, thankfully. But those are the situations and the places where you might find the predators. And I definitely have my angels watching over me, because I was very vulnerable at that night and many other nights. And don't be on your cell phone if you're walking to your car in the middle of the night or in the dark anywhere. Don't be on your cell phone. Like, always be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware. And if something makes you feel uncomfortable, just yesterday, this lady, I was dropping off Isaac in the morning, and this lady, I didn't know it was a lady, but it was a person walking behind me with Ugg boots, and they were kind of like dragging them on the floor, and it was just making like a really like loud noise behind me, like the steps. And it just made me feel uncomfortable, and I just crossed the street over. You know, I just crossed the street, and then I looked over and it was a lady, and I'm like, okay, fine. But you know, women are also predators as well. But I felt better because it was a woman. I was like, okay, it's just a mom, just another mom. But I was vigilant, and the old me would have been like, don't move, stay here, keep walking. You don't want to offend her. You don't want to think that, you know, she's whatever. Yeah, but I'm like, nope. We can't be like that. We can't be too nice, and we have to be way more vigilant and protect ourselves in so many things. You guys have to listen to that episode because it was way more than what I'm saying. I'm just kind of rambling about it, but they gave really great information. It's one of my favorite podcasts right now. Favorite. And it just started. It's amazing, guys. But yeah, waiting for my guy, Mr. Isak, to come from school. I think they're here. He's here!
Isaac, are you going in over there?
Hello! Did you get your books?
Go, hop in.
Did you get your books? Did you get your
Sit
books?
over here, sit over here. Look at it, it's how wet it is.
Did you, puppy? No, not today. They didn't come? Oh, shoot. I just closed the door.
Hey.
Let me hold this. It's the weekend! It's the weekend, Mr. Isak. Are you excited?
Isaac, can you put the cup holder in?